Mohamed Tadjadit, winner of the 2025 Index on Censorship Freedom of Expression Award for Art. The popular uprisings in parts of North Africa never really ended. Pro-democracy protests in Algeria, called the Hirak movement, erupted across the country in February 2019 to oppose the fifth term of President Abdelaziz Bouteflika. Even after the president resigned later that same year, the protests continued, calling for political reforms and greater human rights protections. These courageous protesters were met with a swift crackdown, with dozens of journalists, human rights defenders, whistleblowers, and members of the public being arrested and persecuted. Few were immune, and this included the poet Mohamed Tadjadit. Nicknamed the Poet of Hirak, Mohamed used his poetry, written in Darija, an Algerian dialect of Arabic, and social media to amplify the protesters' calls and defend the principles of free expression and the rule of law. By combining historical references and calls for democratic change, Mohamed's poetry resonated with his fellow protesters and the broader Algerian population. Sharing his poetry online, using the hashtag Je suis pas satisfait or I'm not satisfied, his videos were watched and shared by hundreds of thousands of users. A translated line from one of Mohamed's poems encapsulates the Hirak movement's call for civilian rule. The military rule will be removed, and the mafia state will fall. The people are proud and will never be broken. They only want to clean their nation. Mohamed has long been targeted by the Algerian authorities. Between 2019 and 2025, he has been imprisoned 5 times, predominantly for his poetry and activism. On the 29th of January 2024, Mohamed was arrested at his home in Algiers and placed in pre-trial detention. 2 days later, he appeared in court before a prosecutor and investigative judge, without the presence of a lawyer, and was questioned in connection with a number of terrorism charges. He ended up spending 9 months in pre-trial detention before being released on the 1st of November 2024 as part of a presidential pardon for prisoners, which included at least 23 detained activists and journalists. However, his freedom was not to last. In January 2025, Mohamed was held in custody for 3 days without visits from his family or lawyer. Later that month, the Rouiba court in Algiers convicted him under expedited trial proceedings, sentencing him to a fine and 5 years in prison. Following an appeal heard in April, Mohamed's 5-year prison sentence was reduced to 1 year. He is currently held at El Harrach prison in Algiers, awaiting hearings for further charges brought against him. In 2020, Mohamed, in between periods in prison, spoke to Al Jazeera, telling them, "If we have to march for another year to snatch our freedom, we will do it. No problem."